How did you actually end up here? What was the journey like? What was the story overall?
I had my very first DUI at 21 years old and my second DUI 1 month later.
So what was the GOAT method? How did it help you? How did it transform your
The
business?
more personable and relatable you can be as an individual, the more people you can attract, right?
How did you actually get to your first million as a journey?
A 4-week cohort, within that 4 weeks, I've already made my first $10,000. It was actually $20,000 in 19 days.
What is actually the playbook for making a successful challenge?
Most important thing, hands down, is the onboarding process.
What does that, like gamified method look like?
If you're action taker, you're a winner. And if you're not an action taker, then you're a loser.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody who's actually listening to this podcast right now? First of all, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Nikhil Sai Show, which is hosted by me, the Nikhil Sai. And guess what's going on today? We're back with another amazing 2 Karma Club interview. The guy who's jumping on has a transformational story. I mean, we're talking about going from a struggling construction worker to building a 7-figure marketing business in under 22 months. And not just that, it's not just about, being in a different situation and making the life better. It's coming from a very unique background of alcohol addiction and different stuff in life. And he was able to get out of that situation and actually build a dream online business, which made him a millionaire in just 22 months. And he specializes in B2B marketing, high-ticket affiliate marketing, and we will talk about the GOAT method to propel amazing success in digital businesses. Let's not waste any time and actually let's welcome Eric Farner. Hey, Eric.
How's it going, my brother? Nice to finally meet you. I think I met you actually at the last FHL, but it was only a picture of you. You weren't there. It was just a picture of you. And I think they were taking photographs with it. So I think I might have took a picture with it from a distance because I couldn't get up on stage with it, but somewhere my camera rolled. But either way, it's good to meet with you, man. Finally.
That was pretty fun. It's a funny story that you're bringing it up. Like, I actually had my visa rejected and I was connected with Russell and all the other clients I have. And I was thinking like, okay, if I got my visa rejected, what else can I do? And Russell was kind enough, and I had one of the 2 Karma Club winners help me out. Parthiv was the one who helped me with the cutout and get it on the stage and whatnot. It was fun. I get a lot of criticized because people think it's Photoshop, but I'm fine. Like, go hate me. I love this, so.
No, it's not Photoshopped. I was there at FHL and I seen it on the stage. So you did not Photoshop it. It's legit. I contest to it. I was there.
Yeah, but it's one thing. We will definitely get into your story, but coming from India and achieving early success, I kind of see a lot of people who hate me couldn't digest the fact that I'm achieving this, and they don't want to trust it, so they hate it for a reason. And I receive text almost every day saying, that looks so fake, bro. You should get your marketing better. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's Photoshop. Like, I could swap your face if you want. It's $10. I play around. I play around. I used to take it personally. Now I take it as fun, and it's just so fun.
Yeah,
but
good,
Eric,
good.
Appreciate you jumping on, brother. And we will definitely talk about the B2B marketing, affiliate marketing, challenges, building communities, how to actually decrease the churn in communities, and a lot of other nitty-gritty stuff. But before that, walk us through your journey. How did you actually end up here? What was the journey like? What was the story overall?
Yeah, man. So take you guys kind of way back. I had my very first DUI at 21 years old and my second DUI 1 month later. And I basically come from a troubled background, born in Las Vegas, born and raised, literally on the streets. Parents divorced when I was really young. I lived in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood and, a highly gang neighborhood, high gang population. And I was like one of the, I think maybe 2 or 3 white or, Caucasian families in that neighborhood. So growing up was pretty rough, right? I had to, have my fair share of the fights, but at the end of the day, I became friends with a lot of people in that neighborhood, but I really didn't have the direction and the roadmap to have a successful life. It was just more to fend for myself. So needless to say, I barely graduated high school. And the only reason why I did is because I wrestled, kind of like Russell's story. I wasn't very good at the academics. I wasn't good at anything like that. It was basically, I was good with my hands, baseball, wrestling, wood shop, auto mechanics, stuff like that I done. And I loved wrestling. So that's the only thing that really got me through high school, just kind of like Russell's story, with going to the study classes at the end of the day just to, wrestle. But either way, I ended up finding myself going down that rabbit hole of drug addiction and criminal activity at an early age. I finally got caught for the most part at 21 years old. And that was when I was in Arizona. And from then on, I had my first DUI at 21, and it seemed like every 3 years or so I was getting a new DUI. So I would only stay free for 3 years at a time. And my second DUI in Arizona in the US, they'll give you prison time for your second one. And so I ended up doing 16 months or 18 months in a DUI camp. And that was in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona area. And from there on, it was just get out for 2.5, maybe 3 years and another DUI. I've always worked really hard. I was pretty much all my charges. I have a misdemeanor pipe charge, for smoking weed when I was younger too. But other than that, it's just been DUIs and just in and out of the law, in and out, working construction, the mines, finished carpentry. I built the office I'm sitting in right now. And so that's kind of like what my life was. It was just work hard, even drink harder. I would go to the bars every single night, do that kind of, single thing. And for some reason, I was always one getting caught. Sometimes I was driving on the wrong side of the street, but still I was always the one getting caught. Right. And, it's just kind of like that turmoil up and down, up and down. And finally one day, I had this epiphany moment. It was my last day on the mine site. I was like, you know what? I'm done with this stuff. I'm going to go and just kind of enjoy my life and try to figure things out, get sober. Well, it wasn't even but a week later, I picked up my sixth DUI, and
Mm-hmm.
I spent my last time in prison for 18 months. This last time I got out in 2000, and right after the COVID happened, 2020 or whatever it was, 2000, something like that. I think it was 21 or whatever it was, COVID.
Mm,
And I was actually released early because they couldn't transport inmates from state line to state line because they had everything shut down. So I still had charges in Idaho where I had my original kind of charge, and I still had time there to do. I was on parole at the time. And
mm,
since I got caught in Montana, I had to do my time here first, but COVID happened and they said, okay, no transport in and out of state lines, but I had to be released. My time was up. So they released me to Montana, and that's where I met my wife, Aska. She's been a soldier from the beginning. She's had my back. I started this adventure right out of prison. 2020, I get out and I am $3 in my bank account. I'm $40,000 in debt. My wife worked as a housekeeper here in the local town we're in. We're in a town of 2,500 people in Montana. And she's making $10 an hour. She made $10 an hour for the last like 4 years. They never gave her a raise, nothing, right? Anyways, I had to find a different way. So I was sitting on my couch one day, scrolling
mm.
social media, and all of a sudden a post or an ad came for affiliate marketing. All right. And it's like, get this $7 course. It's going to change your life. You're one affiliate link away. I was like, yes, this is it. This is all I've ever needed. Well, guess what? It took me 7 months or 6.5, 7 months of going down that rabbit hole, but not with alcohol this time. This time it was with, affiliate marketing, trying to learn on my own, learn for free. And I went to YouTube, Google, and all these different things. But at the end of the day, I started with Legendary Marketer, and good company. I just had some disagreement with the way marketing was and the promises they made. But I didn't see success for about 7 months in that. I started with some MLM stuff, sold to my friends and family. And once that kind of went away, I sold to all my friends and family. There's no more business. So I was like, I had to figure something out. Then I found my first mentor, Brad Shilkraut, which he had passed away almost 2 years ago from fentanyl overdose. He was actually 26 years old, but he's actually the one who taught me, my GOAT method. And you talked about that one, the introduction. But that's kind of like
Yeah.
how my story got started. That's an overview of, who Eric Forner is. I'm 44 now. I just turned 44. Our 2 kids, a lovely wife. We have our own home in Libby, Montana, my own little studio that I built. And just, pretty much all I do is work and play. That's not what I do. I don't really work too much. It's, 5 hours a day or so, but then I'm usually riding my side by side dirt bikes and stuff like that.
I love that, Eric. I mean, what a transformation, brother. I mean, I believe this story will inspire a lot more people who actually are in a situation which you are like, or anywhere close to that. Or I wish nobody is in that situation, but it just gives belief systems and, showcase the transformation of yours is really transformational. I mean, I come from the neighborhood where I see a lot of people with what you're coming from, like alcohol addiction, drug addiction, and different things. And it's really hard, to not fall into that rabbit hole, especially when you're coming from neighborhoods like that. And these are the things we didn't control. We didn't have an option. But it's great to see you coming back and flipping your life 360 degrees, brother. And I'm grateful that you actually did that, Eric. Kudos to you. So, like, walk us through. So, you started your affiliate marketing journey. You had your mentor, Eric, who's helping you out. So, what was the GOAT method? How did it help you? How did it transform your business? Walk us through the journey, or what was it like to going from that like getting into the rabbit hole of affiliate marketing, MLM, to actually making this successful and building $1 million business? Because like I've done it in 2 years and it's no joke. It's hard, actually. like people think it's so easy, and or maybe some people think it's impossible. No, like if you put in the work, it happens. So walk us through how did the GOAT method transform? How did you actually get to your first million as a journey?
Yeah, for sure. So as I told you guys earlier, I was with Legendary Marketer. I made about $40,000 in 4 months once I found my mentor. And the GOAT method kind of started right there. Now, my mentor taught me a completely different strategy than what is being taught today, right? It's more like copy everybody's content, find the most viral content, copy it, make it, fake it till you make it. Well, that works
Mm,
for some, but it doesn't
mm,
work for others. And what
mm,
I've come to realize is the more personable and relatable you can be as an individual, the more
mm.
people you can attract, right? You attract the right people and you repel the wrong people. That's what it's all about.
True.
Not
Yeah.
everybody's going to like me. Not everybody's going to like you and your Photoshop stuff, right? But either way, um, yeah, it's just like one of those things that I had a story to tell and I got my success and really got my traction from being authentic, transparent, showed up on time and I told my story and I related with a lot of individuals. Now, the individuals that I related with, they didn't all have addictions. They didn't all have, criminal backgrounds, but they knew somebody that did. They knew a
Mm.
brother, a sister, and they'd been through that turmoil. So they knew what I was talking about was super like true, but it was like super like I guess you could say transparent at the same time. Like
Very much
I'm
vulnerable.
opening myself up
Yeah.
and people follow me on that journey. And, people didn't started buying from me the very first day. No, but they started seeing me show up each day, be my authentic self. And that's when story selling and storytelling come into play. Cause that's really what my GOAT method is based on. Right. So, the G for the GOAT is G is for get clients through storytelling, optimize your systems through automation. A is through attract your buyers through selling, and then turn your cold leads into raging fans. And so that's kind of like what the GOAT method is. And so I
Mm.
actually had a strategy, a step-by-step process that I could teach literally anybody. And I started with the beginners. And I realized really fast when I was going live on TikTok for about 30 days, 45 days straight, that I was making a lot more sales by connecting with my audience rather than putting out viral content and not getting anything. So I was in between popular and making money, and I was right in the center. I wasn't really doing anything, right? I was stuck in the middle, and so I was getting traction. People were liking my videos, but I wasn't making any money, and it was because I wasn't being authentic and transparent. So that's when my mentor came into the picture. I think I had like $4 or $5 in my bank account. My wife, like I said, when she's working at the hotel as a
The
housekeeper,
housekeeping thing. Mm.
right? Well, I didn't have any money. I didn't have any credit. She had an okay credit score. Well, we actually qualified for a loan for $3,500 mentor. That's what he wanted from me. He said, I'll do 4 sessions with you, 4 one-on-one sessions, 45-minute sessions. Then I'm going to put you in a 4-week cohort. So within that 4-week cohort, within that 4 weeks, I've already made my first $10,000. It was actually $20,000 in 19 days. So I was in that cohort. I learned exactly what he was talking about, the strategies, story selling, building that relationship, because the more relationships you build, the more revenue you will make at the end of the day. The more you help, the more you'll make. And I didn't understand that at first, but as soon as I started going to his cohort and I take immediate action, like it was imperfect action. Like I would learn something in that mastermind. And if it like rang a bell or a light bulb went off in the mastermind on a call, I would literally turn my camera off and create a piece of content on it and send it out there because it was to my heart. It was like, I felt the emotion or I felt and I seen the direction and I knew if I could, so could my avatar. So I kept doing
Mm.
that over and over. I learn it and teach it, learn it and teach it, learn it and teach it
Wow.
by being authentic. And that's truly what got my start. And I see a lot of individuals in the market today, they'll go through a full course and not implement anything, then call that course or that person a scam and not do
Yeah.
shit, right? They don't do nothing, excuse my language, but they don't do nothing. They don't take action on nothing. So what I teach my students in each module of every one of my courses on each phase, there's a homework assignment at the end in order to get to the next phase. So I know they're actually
Mm.
going through and they have to submit their assets. And that's one of the things that helps with the churn rate is having an active community, but having them continuously take action. So that's kind of like, I hope
Mm.
I answered your question. I didn't spin off to the next
Yeah.
side, but that's kind of like how the GOAT method came to be. Met my mentor within 20 days after meeting him. I blew up and I haven't looked back.
Love that. Love that. Like, I think this really like gives the importance and shows the importance of having a mentor, not just being in a course or a coaching program, but having somebody who handholds you, have that one-on-one with you, or have that group coaching with you, it could be transformation. And that's how I got started as well. I don't know if I would be here if it wasn't for the mentors who actually did show up and help me out when I actually needed that help. So yeah, I don't think like courses and coaching programs are a scam. Some people actually do have bad products, which I agree to an extent, but most of them are good. And I I laugh at people when say something doesn't work. It's like you're going to the gym, you're not working out, you're blaming the machines. That doesn't make sense. Like
Right.
you're eating shit and you're not working out, and you're blaming the machines for not making you
Right.
thin, not making you fit. It's on you. Yeah, that's really transformation, Eric. So walk us through. I mean, so you discovered your affiliate marketing success. That's when you went into high ticket affiliate marketing. You built your communities, and you've done a lot of challenges. Like launching challenge funnels and stuff like that overall. So walk us through, like, give us your best learnings of what actually worked. I mean, you have done dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of challenges by this point. Walk us through what is actually the playbook for making a successful challenge. What does that like gamified method look like to keep highest engagement, because that's what you're good at, like keeping people until the end, which is not usually in challenges. Like people do fall off in the day 2 day 3 zone, but I'm excited to learn more on how would you do that actually.
I would say the most important part of keeping the churn rate low in a challenge and keeping, the show up rate by day number 4, because typically you have a 50% drop off rate in challenges by day number 4. That's usually pitch day, right? I was
Yep.
able to get it up to keep 75% of people that initially buy into my challenge. They'll stay till day 4, all into day 5. Now, the way I do that, and the key and the most important thing, hands down, is the onboarding process, right? Is having that initial touch point. As soon as somebody signs up for a challenge or signs up for your community, immediately have a VA, an automated system, something, reach out to them. Can't be too chat GPT like. You want to sound very human like, but reaching out to them, ask if they have any questions. Like, what are you stuck with? What are you struggling with? I'm going to help you out as much as possible, but I need to know what you need help with so I can help you. And so that is like an open door of like almost creating a friendship, right? Rather than just buy my product, I'll see you in 20 days or see you in 5 days, or buy my product, I'll see you next week in my first live call. No, it doesn't have to specifically be you. If you're already making, 100K or 200, 300K a month, and you have a team, you don't have to be on every call. No, but have somebody make an initial touch point with that individual. That's going to help solidify the relationship from the beginning. Now, a person, Stu, right, from ClickFunnels, he talks about this on building communities as well. And the most important portion or part is actually the onboarding. And that onboarding is the most important. So once you onboard somebody, it's the touch points that we have with those individuals, even through the challenge. Now, I'll talk about gamified challenges and how I keep my show up rate very, very good in there. But for my Facebook group and my communities and stuff like that, to keep the churn rate very low, in that, what I do is I have a lot of engagement. So there'll be award ceremonies. I have, when people hit their very first high ticket sale, or when somebody, gets their very first ad campaign launched successfully, their first $10,000, as you see it back here, there's a belt right here. That's that's my 10K award. So I give that belt away for $10,000. And another
Some
example,
WrestleMania stuff.
yeah, so that's plenty of stuff right there, right? And I have my $50,000 award. It's a ring, and then I have 100K. And I give out cups, I give out mugs, bobbleheads, right? All kinds of stuff, just to show and appreciate what they're doing, what individual are doing. That's for the beginners, right? They need to build that belief in them. So if they get their very first high ticket sale, right? Let's like give them a mad amount of props. Like, let's send them a cup, a t-shirt, something like that, just to let them know that, hey, people do care. And that is super important. That's a huge win. Right. And so
Yeah.
I keep congratulating them. I keep awarding my community members. And at the end of the day, this is all a write-off. Like everything, all this is a write-off, right? So it's not really costing me anything. It will upfront initially, but when I actually purchase from this, I'm an affiliate for the company that I purchase this from. So I'm making money back on it. But what it's doing, it's reinforcing that there's a community feel. There's, a family kind of feel that we all want to support each other. So that's another thing. Another thing that I do is I have a naughty list, right? And so for anybody that's not taking action in my community, I'm going to put their name, blast them, tag them in my Facebook group community. This person is not taking action, and now they're on the naughty list. Nobody wants to be on the naughty list, right? Because everybody wants to keep their status right? They don't want to lose that status of, I invested. I'm not an action taker. I'm a loser, because I say if you're action taker, you're a winner, and if you're not an action taker, then you're a loser, right? And I'll say these things. It kind of hurts feelings in a sense, but that's, as a mentor and a coach, I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm here to, be as honest as possible, right? And if that hurts your feelings sometimes, then it is what it is, but you need to hear the truth. And so if I
Mm,
blast you on that naughty list, I'm telling you what, I've had 20 people, 30 people on the naughty list. I blasted out there within 2 or 3 days. People are handing homework assignments. They're showing up to calls. They're implementing, boom, boom, boom. And the naughty list goes to 1 or 2 people, right? That's going to
mm,
happen. So that helps with that process. And giving those awards and milestones is really, really important. And also, following up people, even if you have a lower ticket offer, $97 a month, what we do is a check-in call, right? So it's an automated thing, an automated message going out. Basically, the check-in call would be about 5 minutes. An automated message will go out. Hey, it's your monthly check-in call. Is there anything you need help with whatsoever? Respond back yes or no or whatever to this message, right? And then we'll respond back, yeah, I've been stuck. I've been in my own head. So then I'll have a team member, a virtual assistant, VA, or somebody will get on the call with them or correspond through voice typically,
mm,
and just find
mm,
out what their problems are, just to keep those touch points going. And there's just so many different things. And then gamifying it too, adding a leaderboard to your challenges, giving them points for the homework that they submit each and every night. So every night I would have a homework assignment through each
mm,
night. And then also another way to help with your churn rate keeping low and your challenge staying very active is have them commit at least 2 commitments per day inside your challenge. Is like, Eric, commit to taking full responsibility of my actions, implementing everything that I learned in the course of this challenge, and then I have them sign their name and date it, right? So that's on their pad of paper that they're taking notes with. But then I'll have my virtual assistant or somebody actually take the commitment, post it inside of the chat. They copy it, put their name in. Now they're taking action. So the quicker you get your
mm,
people to start taking action and commit to themselves, because you got to ask yourself, when's the last time a person's actually committed to helping themselves? Like you're talking about the gym. We'll buy gym memberships, but we'll never actually go to do self-improvement. But we're out there helping everybody out in the world but ourselves, right? And so it's really hard for people to actually commit. And if you can get them to commit early on, you could see that consistency come out down the road.
makes sense. Wow, that's a beautiful game plan. I believe this is more like a actionable playbook for anybody who is managing a community, running a challenge, and there are so many actionable takeaways for people. And I love the fact that you're able to engage your audience because, yeah, you're right. Like we could see a high ticket business model shifting into more communities these days, and everybody's talking about communities, but I see behind the scenes of big communities. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. This community will be dead in a few months because the churn is crazy. What you're
Mhm.
giving away is very valuable. So if you like, they implement all of the stuff you're talking about, they could retain a lot more customers and the LTVs will, shoot up like crazy. That's really helpful,
Indeed.
Eric. Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah.
One more thing. One thing I want to add. One more thing too.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a challenge, you're running a challenge. It could be for from dollars. If you have a VI or general mission 47, VIP 97, and then your back end offer is 1,000 as an example. If you have a back end offer of 1K, that onboarding process too is pre-qualification process on top of it. So if they have
Mm-hmm.
money to invest right then, rather than waiting the 30 days, I close about 20% of the people. So if I close, 50% or 45%, 47%, whatever, at the end of that challenge, I close out of 10 people, I'll probably close 2 or 3 before the challenge even starts. Because I'm getting that touch point right then and there. I'm solving their problem with a solution right then and there. So that's super
Wow.
important. Don't wait for closing day on day number 4 and 5 to pitch your people. Pitch them as soon as they come into the damn door and find out
Mm.
where they're at, what they need help with. And, if you answer all questions at the end of the day, they have no choice but to invest.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, the trickiest part is getting people on the phone. If you solve for that, you call it onboarding, you call it sales call, you call it triage call, qualification call, discovery call, strategy session, whatever, however you package it. Or if you get people on phone, I think it's great to understand the transformation they want and obviously make an offer. So that's really, really helpful, Eric. Definitely something interesting there overall. I mean, the biggest problem most it's a B2B business, it could be, or affiliate marketing, entrepreneur, it could be, is getting traffic. That's like the trickiest part. I mean, we know the ad cost is rising like insane. Good quality clicks can cost you $4 to $5 these days. creative matters than ever before. And with the short form amazing cat videos which go viral, it's really tough to compete for attention. So I'm curious, what are the best strategies or lead generation techniques you've been using for yourself and your clients, which is working in 2024 and beyond?
Okay, for sure. So if I don't know my avatar, the pain points, roadblocks, and desired outcomes, or even the demographics and psychographics, if I'm just kind of like I'm jumping into this and I want to get leads, what I would do first is I would create a survey and I would ask specific questions inside of a survey to find out what their
Mm,
problems, pain points, and desired outcomes are, right? And
mm,
I would start making content on that organically at first. Find out what organically attracts people, and then I would definitely turn to paid ads. But the process that we use for organic marketing is not just putting out short form content and maybe calls to action every time to an offer. There's got to be a nurture process, right? So lead content, nurture content, and then conversion content. Most people go from lead content straight to conversion content and they don't nurture in the middle. And I see this
mm,
happening a lot, and they're missing a lot of the low hanging fruit. So we really focus in on like short form platforms like TikTok, and my students, I would say probably 80% of them at least go live on TikTok because that's what I instruct them to do as soon as they get 1,000 followers. So they're creating the content, they're telling their story, being authentic and real. And now they're going to double down on the 7 hour rule or 7 time rule, however you want to look at it, right? Some people might need 7 hours of your, content to take action. They might need to see you 7 times to take action, however you want to look at it. But what you're
mm,
doing is you're putting the fuel on fire. So you can, even Instagram is good too. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, any platform that has a short form video structure to it, and then also has an option to go live. So that's what I teach
mm,
them. Create content, storytelling, really mundane things. Like I spilled coffee on myself, dude. It was gonna be a horrible day. Then I clicked on my phone, I seen $1,000 commission come in on autopilot, let me mind you. And the whole day turned around, man. If you want your day to turn around, go ahead and click on the bot, whatever. I was sitting in 5 hours of traffic trying to get to my construction job, right? And my side hustles, this. I was having a frustrated day. I was arguing with my wife in the morning, whatever. Something happened. Like my client just got a new height, whatever. See what I'm saying? So more mundane stories rather
storytelling.
than being clickbaity. Like it's easy to make $10,000 online by reading a book on Google. It doesn't happen, right? That's the switch and bait. We got to be more. We got to be more not as scammy, I guess you could say, because the FTC is definitely cracking down on people on quick, fast, and easy. So the more
Yeah.
authentic you could be, right, in your short form content, that's perfect. Now on TikTok, when we put out that content and we go live, we started tracking people. We don't take them right to an offer. What we do is we send them to a community, a free
Mm,
resource, right? So we take
mm,
them off the TikTok platform and then we put them on a longer form platform, Facebook or a community to nurture
mm,
that lead. Right. So I look at TikTok like I'm mining gold. So I'm in a I'm in a bunch of ore, in a mine, and I'm mining all the gold. All the people that connect with my messaging or my communication at all, they're the gold. I'm going to take those people specifically and put them in a different bucket. And so I'm
mm,
separating everybody. Then my nurture's over here. So that's how to really ramp up the organic marketing. SEO is important too on TikTok now, being that it's a search engine platform. You could search anything on TikTok, and there's ways you can categorize your videos now to where people will see them. It's pretty dialed in actually. And so if somebody's Googling how to make money online and you're categorized for how to make money online, then your videos will populate first when they search for that keyword, right? Make
wow.
money online, home, stuff like that. Anyways, that's another topic. But either way, that's how we create the organic rotation. Now, organic's very unpredictable, right? And I made my first $1 million all organic, not one paid ad, all organic
Mm,
$1 million. And so I realized after trying to scale past, 100K per month, now I'm jumping, well, it's been about 3 months, 4 months now. I'm jumping into paid ads and I'm
mm,
starting to get more consistency, right? Because the algorithm works in a certain way. It's going to attract the right people, repel the wrong people, and it's more consistent, right? As long as my ROI is good, right? If I'm 2Xing at least my money or making my ad spend back by a self-liquidating offer. So basically, I put in $5 and I get $10 back. Perfect. I love it. So that I would love to, have that happen. But either way, start with organic, short form content, inspire your people by your messaging, your story, where you come from, your roadblocks, your wins, your loses, all those different things. Just be authentic and be transparent.
yeah, that was straight to the point. I mean, you've been also featured at the TikTok World Summit. So how did
Yeah.
that happen? Walk us through the transformation. It was
I don't
like.
know. I was crushing it on TikTok. I was like maybe 5 months into my business. Maybe I got to 140,000 followers on TikTok in like 5 months or something like that. 4.5,
Hmm,
5 months. Well, Rachel
hmm,
Pedersen reached out to me and she's like, "You have fire content. The way you story tell, the way you're authentic. I want to invite you to the TikTok World Summit." So Rachel Pedersen reached out to me, or maybe it was her, somebody else. I don't know, but it was from Rachel Pedersen, right? Could have been a VA,
hmm, hmm,
or an automated message. I don't know. But either way, she reached out to me. She said, "We have all kinds of people. Like, there's Rachel Pedersen. There is, who else was on there? Me. There is, I think there was Jonathan Montoya. There is like all these people that were doing something in the industry, right? And so
hmm,
my big topic was organic marketing on TikTok and how to turn a small following into $1 million pretty much. And
hmm,
so, you can have a very small following. You don't have to have 100,000 followers on TikTok. You could have 5,000. I have students right now making more than 10K a month with only 5,000 followers on TikTok. Right. So it's
hmm.
not how many people, it's your messaging and attracting the right people and repelling the wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I think people just get confused about the social media thing by making vanity metrics the real metrics, and it's not
Mhm.
true. Like the real metric is, like I look at cash collected and the number of quality leads in your personal network instead of just the likes and shares and comments. I mean, it's a great metric, but it's not the leading metric in my opinion. So definitely, it makes a lot of sense. Don't let subscribers or followers make you feel good or bad. It's the business and the revenue you're generating which should make you feel good or bad. And the amount of customer success you're able to bring is, what I believe is the biggest factor. And Eric, that was
Right.
definitely transformational. I'm kind of curious, what kind of tools do you use on a daily basis to manage your clients, your personal productivity, and your day-to-day operations?
Absolutely. So the very first tool I use is the GOAT systems. It's actually a white label of GHL. So I white labeled GHL and I made the GOAT system, something with like, funnel freedom, like what Jonathan Poya has,
Hmm.
same, I had the same, pretty much the same system. We started at the same time, but I used GHL for my CRM. And then to keep track of all my passcodes and all my credit card information, I use LastPass.
Hmm.
Let me see here. I use Stripe for all my communication for my team. Not Stripe, I mean Slack,
Slack.
for all
Yeah.
communication for my team. Let me see here. I pretty much eliminated all my softwares. Zoom and Calendly, not Zoom, but Calendly, Vimeo,
Hmm.
Kajabi, all these other ones. I limited all those, including ClickFunnels, and now I have everything all in one spot. And
Hmm.
what's crazy though, let me tell you about this. How much is GHL for the unlimited package?
497, I guess.
Guess how much I charge?
I don't know.
$97.
Hmm.
Unlimited sub accounts, unlimited funnels, all the AI, all the templates, everything, 100% for $9.
Oh, so you're giving it away as sub accounts for other people, like your students, or it
No,
could be a
I'm just,
business
yeah,
owner.
I'm letting them own their own account so they can have unlimited sub accounts. So Go High Level charges 497. I'm only
How is that
charging 97
possible?
because I'm white labeling it. So I'm paying 500 a month to white label it, but I could sell
Hmm.
it for anything as long as it's not below $97. So
Hmm.
that's how I put over 200 people on my SaaS in like 2 months, is because I was right. I wanted to double down as my beta. That's my beta group. And so I was like, you know what? How can we do this? I gotta stand out and be different from anybody else. So I'm gonna give it
Hmm.
all away for $97, right? And it's gonna come with course and a community for $97. That's gonna change. It's gonna go to a 3-tier structure. But right now, if you
Hmm.
guys want in, it's $9. You get unlimited access to DHL. But no, so I use GHL for primarily everything. All my
Hmm.
flows, my follow-ups. I use Lead Connector for my text messaging. I do use the scheduling social media, posts. I do use that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I have everything integrated inside of there, including my
Sure.
affiliate
Yeah.
software. Everything is pretty much under one roof, and I don't really use anything else except for maybe Bitly, and that's pretty
Yeah.
much it.
I mean, life is easy. Like after high level, I've when the same question when I used to ask back in 2020, a lot of two comma club winners used to give me a list of double dozen softwares. Like, hey, we use Vimeo, Vistia, this tracking tool, that Hyros, like this 17 things, that split test software, this marketing automation tool, the Zapier, the workflows, the Pablo. Now it's like, hey, we use high level and that's it. So great job with
That's it.
Sean and all the co-founders. I've interviewed all of them on my show. So, and I'm very close. I'm actually invited to speak at their event high level summit this October. I hope I'll get my visa so that I could actually be there in US. My cutout can't speak, bro, so I gotta find out a way.
Yeah, for sure. Do me a favor, since you know those guys, I actually submitted to be a speaker over there at the Go High Level
Wow.
event. And
Hmm.
I'll be getting my award, because I got the more than 100. But maybe you should put a good word in for me, man. My buddy Eric has a crazy story, and he's informational, whatever you want. I haven't made the 500 million for my clients yet, but I'm at $1.9 million, right? And either way, 3/4 of that was just organically. So
Wow, that's pretty dope. Yeah, let me see what I can do there for sure. So walk me through like what is like a typical day look like, Eric? Like when you wake up, how do you structure your day? And you're more of a freedom guy. You only try to work 5 hours a day. So I'm curious, how do you structure your days typically?
yeah, for sure. So I have a routine and I have a daily schedule, right? So I'll kind of
Hmm.
break them down first. The routine. The routine never deviates from the plan, and that's self-help, the self-care. I get up around 4:30 in the morning. I have an app. It's called Sleep Cycle. I'm not sure if you
Hmm.
can see it, but it's called Sleep
Yeah.
Cycle, and it
Hmm.
basically monitors your sleep patterns, and it tells you when you're in the REM sleep, and it actually wakes you up when you're not in a REM sleep. It pre-wakes you up with like light sounds at first, but anyways, that helps me in the morning. But my morning routine never deviates. So that's I wake up in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I take a cold shower out the gate. From the cold shower, I do my positive affirmations in the mirror, like, just literally talk myself through kind of like what the day is going to be going on. I'm going to brush my teeth. Once I brush my teeth, I grab a banana or something light. I hit the gym. Once the gym, and the reason why I go to the gym, not necessarily to change my body, I train my mind, my body will
Hmm.
follow. I go to the gym because it's a mental thing, right? Each and every day. Of course, I like, staying
It
fit and
is.
looking good,
Yeah.
right? But it's a mental thing and staying consistent on that. And it just adds fuel to the fire because it creates more clarity in my mind. I can focus, I have more energy and all these different things. And I'm telling you right now, take a cold shower and find out what happens. That's a bad boy there. But anyway, that's how I come on
Ooh,
my met
I could. Something is wrong with the microphone.
now.
Yeah, it's clear now. Maybe don't touch it because it was making a lot of
Okay.
noise.
Yeah, I probably tapped it a little bit. All right, I want to make sure it's not too loud. Adjust it here. But anyways, my morning routine will start from me waking up around 4:30 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
cold shower, positive affirmations. Then I typically have a small bite to eat. Go to the gym, train my mind. My body will follow. And then I get back from the gym. I still have a few hours before everybody else wakes up. So I sit down. I take another warm shower this time. I have more of a breakfast. Usually my after workout protein shake. And then
Hmm.
sit down. I write some emails. I'll do some market research. I'll kind of just go on and start building my dream 100. Right. I'll research everybody. You're on my dream 100, and I can knock you off now. And so, like, I just kind of do my market research in the morning and then just get ideas and inspiration. But I do not check my phone until I come back from the gym,
Hmm.
right?
Interesting.
Because it's the serotonin, the oxytocin that we release, the good feelings that we release, and we only have a certain amount through the day. And there's
Hmm.
the most chemicals released in the morning. And if we're spending that time searching and looking at our phone, getting bad info, a bad text message or a bad email or whatever, that could set the tone for my whole day. So my routine is super important to me. I do that in the morning, and then my daily schedule basically boils down. I write down 5 things that I need to do the next day on my whiteboard. And so I'll start, and I won't do each thing until it's done. I do each thing for 45 minutes to an hour, and I move to the next thing if it's done or not. And then I move all the way down the list. A lot of my tasks get done throughout the day, but then what doesn't get done today, I move to the top of the list for tomorrow. And I keep that cycle over and over. And it stems from, team meeting in the morning at 9 o'clock, team meeting every morning at 9. That's with the 3 virtual assistants, it's other 6 people on my team, what are 5 people now. But either way, have my team meeting. I line everybody out for the day. And right now I'm in the process of building a whole new course, a whole new offer. And that's for the higher level stuff,
Hmm.
teaching individuals how to create courses, how to create 5-day challenges, how to keep the churn rate low. Everything I talked about is going to be in my new course. It's
Hmm.
almost done. So that's what I've been working out in the morning. I work on that for about an hour to an hour and a half. And then I have meetings periodically through the day. My calendar doesn't go till past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's it's like not an open schedule, but I can take calls if I need to. So basically my work will stem from content creation, follow up a little bit on my end with higher level people. I'm not in my DMs at all unless you're somebody, I guess, now, because I don't have the time. I have my VA and my other people respond back to my little messages. I have Easy Messenger too. That's what I'm using. That I'm using Easy Messenger too to follow up with people.
Hmm.
But anyways,
Interesting.
else course creation, content creation, a little bit of market research, and a few meetings, and that's my day for pretty much. And I delegate everything else to everybody else.
I love that. That's pretty simple. Now, I'm curious if you could go back and talk to 20-year-old yourself, the 20-year-old Eric, the troublemaker one, what would be the advice you would give yourself?
Pull your head out of your ass, bro. Right?
Real talk,
You
real
know,
talk. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I would change anything. I don't know if I would do anything because it made me who the person I am today. Right.
Mm.
But I would tell them definitely, keep on the right path, man. Don't struggle. You're gonna make your mistakes. Learn from the mistakes that you have. But at the end of the day, I don't take really too much anything back because you know, going through the trials and tribulations that I went through, and have having to become a people person, going to prison so many times, you meet a lot of personalities. People that are schizophrenic, psycho, crazy, people that are not crazy, people that are violent, So I understand I can walk into any neighborhood, probably into any country of this world, and be okay, right? Unless they just hate white people, right? At the end of the day. But I could still go there and be okay, right? And I know how to communicate. So I think I got a lot of my social skills and my personal skills and all these different things through my walk of life. But if I was 20 years old again, I would just say, pull your head out of your ass, man. There's more opportunity online. Don't do construction. Been to as soon as I think online came out, I was 20 years old. When did the internet even start? It's like, I don't know.
1990s is the internet boom. Like, that's when it really took off. But 2000s is when like real software companies, and like
Right.
the Google started
So,
2004 and Facebook, everything came up from that timeline. Yeah.
right. So it was just now coming up, right? So I'd be like, jump on Facebook, all those different things. I had a pager at the time, we didn't have cell phones then. But we had pagers, but I'd say, just try to find something else rather than work in construction because it would have saved me a lot of headache.
Mm,
Find an opportunity online, find a mentor, um, find somebody that
totally.
you can resonate with.
What's like the biggest mistake that you have made, which you could share with us so that we could avoid the same?
Okay, in my business?
Yeah, business.
Okay, in my business, I would say trying to scale too fast and
Mm,
hire too early.
mm, interesting.
And the reason why I say that is because when I went from 0 to $1 million, I'd pretty much done that by myself. And then as soon as I hit that million, and making over 100K a month, I started hiring everybody else to do everything for me. Now, when I
Mm,
started to scale, I started adding more systems. I added more tracking, more types of funnel building that I didn't have time for. And even I didn't even know how to do all of that. Right.
mm,
I didn't have my SOPs created before I started bringing on sales closers on how my process works and stuff like
mm,
that. So I tried to scale too fast. It sounds kind of cliche, but like I was truly trying to scale too fast by hiring more people and hiring the wrong people. Right. I
mm,
was hiring people because they said they could do it, or I liked the person. I wasn't really hiring them for their skill sets or actually trying to hire, you know, higher level people. It was just, I was trying to hire these people and my business almost went down. I'm telling you the truth right now. I've never told
mm,
me this, but I tried bringing on like a staff of people relatively quick. Within a month or two, I had like 5 people working for me and I didn't know what was taking place in my business. I didn't know what was happening. I couldn't control anything. Like I was out of control and I was not really working on my business. I was working in my business again. And
mm.
that would be the biggest mistake, trying to scale too fast and not hiring the right people.
Yeah, that's a big learning lesson. And I believe that's like a phase for everybody to go through and grateful that you're actually being transparent and vulnerable about it. And Eric, if you could look back and be like, oh, that was a good achievement. And what would that be? And what's like your next biggest goal?
Let me see. Biggest achievement I would say would hit $1 million for sure. Russell, I love you, man. You're a great guy, but I only stayed with ClickFunnels to tell you the truth for as long as I did, is so I can get that 2 Comma Club. So I had my opt-in page in ClickFunnels, then I had the rest of my system in Go High Level, and so I was, right. So I was able to like kind of whatever. But I don't know. I said my biggest achievement was probably hitting 7 figures, man. Like I've never made that much money in my entire life, and I was able to do it in 22 months. So I think that was my biggest
Mm,
achievement. I know from what I know now, I know I'm capable of making 1 million a month. Before, if you ask me that, like you're absolutely crazy, right? But
yeah.
now I could see the process. I know how it unfolds. I know what I
Mm,
need to do. I think
mm,
that's my biggest achievement and my biggest goal. I would say No, I don't want to be materialistic or anything like that. But I would say my biggest goal right now in front of me would be creating a very transformational and profitable at the same time for people and myself on how to, my new course, my new offer and all these different things, and build a community that has a 99% success stay rate. So 1% churn rate is my goal. Right now we
Wow,
dropped, I think I told you before, we were at 3 or 4%. We lost a few people in the last couple of weeks. So I think I'm at a 5% churn rate right now, out of 3 months. So 3 months pass, I still have 95% of people still stick with me. And as the time goes, they'll probably decrease, but my biggest thing is try to create the best possible offer and have the most successful community I possibly can build.
that's decent actually. You're probably one of the good communities out there with that low of a churn. I know like people are bleeding with communities who I see are transitioning from high tickets. So kudos to you, great job there. And Eric, I'm curious, what inspires you? What excites you to wake up and get to work? What is like the motivation for you?
Helping others, man. Because I took so much of my life. I was taking advantage of my family, my kids, my wife. Every time I went to prison, and I was always take me, 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 me. And I think what motivates me the most, and my biggest why, is to help other people. Now that's people I don't know, and also my family. So I just want to help people around me. I want to be that person. Because if I would have died 5 years ago, there would have been probably one person that showed up to my funeral, right? My goal is when I die, I want a room full of people to show up when I die, right? And not mourn over it, but celebrate my death because I was able to help inspire so many other individuals. If it's make money or get up off their asses and start going to the gym or motivating them or help building a belief, whatever. I just want to help and I want to inspire as many people as possible, millions if I can.
Mm,
And that's
yeah,
truly what motivates me to get up each and every morning. 'Cause right now, if I stop today, I'm still making around 35 or $40,000, not 40,000 right now. So current commissions. So I don't have to promote anything stopping today, and I'll still make that much money because of
yeah.
my membership, because of all those different things. So it's not truly about the money. I would love to make 500 million. Trust me, I would. But I wouldn't be able to spend it. So I donate it and stuff like that. So help as many people possible. And I get up just to inspire so people can say, Eric, that dude helped me out, man. He's a good dude, right?
Yeah, I love that. That's a very good intention to have. I mean, such an inspiring story, Eric. If somebody wants to work with you or get into your communities or find a little bit more about what you do, how do they find you?
Well, you guys book a call or you can go to my Facebook profile. It's Eric Forner. I'm not sure if I sent you that information or if I could post it anywhere, but I could give it to you later.
Sure.
Here's a
I'll
chat.
add that in the description.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna put it in the chat here. I'll send it to you. But that's my calendar. It goes. Oh, that's not it right there. That's the wrong one. So
You gave me
that's
the
my
wrong
Stripe
link.
settings. Yeah, hang on real quick. This is the right one
Mm.
right there. So yeah, that's the link right there. I was looking into other financial options as far as merchant accounts because Stripe's starting to make me mad. Either way, they charge too much.
It's not a real, yeah, it's not a real, I mean, especially with the new updated policies, it's not really a merchant account anymore. And I have few connections, so I could help you with different
I would
options
love
which you
that,
could
bro.
use.
I would love that for sure. I
I
would love
mean, we're
that.
here for you, brother. So any last word for us to conclude the whole session?
Yeah, if there's anybody out there listening right now, if you're just jumping into this the process of learning how to make money online, or better your financial situation, whatever it is, or if you're wanting to scale your online business, just stay consistent, right? Go back to the basics when it's like you're getting that valley of despair, you feel like you can't get out of it or whatever it is. Just go back to the basics, right? Find a mentor. I wouldn't say find a coach because I think a coach and a mentor are different things. Find a mentor that has actually walked the walk that you would like to walk, and maybe even
Mm,
has a past something similar to yours, or you can resonate with that person's past, right? Because it's all about storytelling, story selling. Be authentic, be upfront, and be very real, and help as many people as you possibly can, and watch what will happen at the end of the day.
yeah, that was beautiful. Great message, Eric. Appreciate you showing up. And guys, hope you enjoyed the podcast so far. And I mean, Eric has given us a lot of value in terms of how to do challenges. What was his transformation like to going from a construction worker to building $1 million marketing business overall, affiliate marketing and B2B lead generation. And we talked a lot about community building, value proposition, storytelling, and many more things. Here's my request: if you're watching till the end so far, like right now, you are a special dude. Actually, you're committed. You're willing to learn. So don't let this story, and the actionable things you're learning from this podcast be just a to-do list in random Google document. Take 5 actionable things you want to do today, learning from this podcast, and go execute. execution is where you get the result. It's not the ideas, it's not the strategy, it's not that good aha moments. So Eric has got there because he has done the work. I am right here because I've done the work. Like that, there's no substitute for doing the work. You can only work out for yourself, you can only maintain your diet for yourself, you can only go and make money for yourself. Okay, so if you're in that phase, get to work. And we're excited. I'll be back with another amazing guest on this podcast, just like Eric. I'll see you guys again. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, brother. Have a great day.
That was